This is not mix. This is not
Yeah.
mix. Everything in between is mix. At the top of my range, like my highest notes, I can still sing them in mix. So not completely like this, but a little bit like this. Hey! But the sound is very close to hey! In this part of a real singing lesson, we're working on shallow, and Alexis just asked me if singing with a dark, rich sound limits how high you can sing. My answer might surprise you, and it will take us into mixed voice territory. We're going to break mixed voice down, and we're going to show you how you can sing a song like Shallow feel like a walk in the park instead of a CrossFit workout. Sing along with Alexis, steal her discoveries, and prepare to have your mind gently exploded. But before we start, if you want my personal help with your singing, there's 2 ways I might be of service. One is through my free ABC Voice Model mini course, which will help you become your own vocal coach and fix your own vocal challenges. Or you can just let me fix them for you in a private session like the one you're about to watch. Links in description. Let's get started. I think there's 2 things. So one, I'll start with the short answer. When you sing higher notes and you keep like a neutral sound, so if I go, I sort of keep the same sound. My larynx will want to go up a little bit. So to keep that neutral sound, it will move up a little bit. When I say to myself, I want to sing high, but I want to go darker, I tell my larynx to go down. So when I tell myself I want to sing high and I want to sing dark, my body says, okay, larynx goes up for the high note. And it also says it needs to come down for the sound. So it sort of works against each other. So in that sense, most people experience that it's harder to sing high notes very dark. So there, in that sense, you could say there's a limit. And especially if you go to the extremes of your voice, you'll notice that you can choose less and less how dark or how light you want to make something. So when you're down here, you can make a lot of difference. But if I'm up there, I can still go, I can do something, but not as much. So that's one limit. And then, but that is separate from chest voice, mixed voice, stuff like that. My idea about that is, depending on the definition, so I'll define it my way. You can sing with very thick vocal fold contact, so that's with your vocal folds like this. And then you can be very loud and it sounds very full, like hey, that's like this. If I sing in head voice or falsetto, I will go to my thinnest vocal fold contact. Hey, hey. And I can do that on the same pitch. Hey, hey. But one is very thick, one is very thin. Yeah, try it. So, hey,
Hey.
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 Yeah, so that's very thick, very thin. For me, everything that's in between that, this is not mix, this is not mix. Everything in between is mix. And I think the mix that people talk about is once you go past your bridge or your passaggio or your break or whatever you want to call it, that's when it gets really interesting, because up until a certain pitch, you can still sing with the thickest vocal fold contact. But at some point, and for some singers, this is around their bridge, and for some it's a bit higher, you will have to go thinner to still be able to go higher. So if I go, hey, up until here, I can still be very thick. I can also go thinner, hey. That would be more mix or a lighter mix. But yeah, we're around a C now, a C5. And I know that for myself, once I get to there, that's sort of the upper limit where I can still be very thick. If I want to go higher, hey, I can keep going, but my voice needs to thin out to
Yeah.
be able to still go that high.
Yeah.
And when I'm singing at the top of my range, like my highest notes,
Yeah.
or almost my highest notes, I can still sing them in mix. So not completely like this, but a little bit like this. Hey! But the sound is very close to hey! And the difference between this and this is way smaller all the way up there because I cannot choose to go here anymore. I can only choose this or this.
Mm.
And lower, I can choose
Mm.
to go here, or I can choose to go here or somewhere in between. So that's how I
Got
see mix. And when you sing a song like this, to bring it back to the song, generally, once you've unlocked this for yourself, it's easier to sing something with a slightly thinner vocal fold contact. So if I go, I'm of the deep end, it's very easy to sing for me. I can do this in my sleep or while slouching, or I make it very easy for myself. And that's quite thin, and thinner than I have to be at that pitch. But if I try to go to my max vocal fold thickness at this pitch, I can make it very hard for myself as well to still be able to do this. I'm of the deep end. Now I have to, it's way more risky and I have to control it way better. So at any pitch you sing, there's a maximum thickness you can still sing at. But if you sing it at maximum thickness, it is quite risky and you need very precise control. And if you allow yourself to go a bit thinner, which I think is what you do naturally, you feel, okay, if I go to that high pitch, if I let myself go a little bit thinner, I just make it easier for myself. But you do, or you can lose a bit of richness, fullness, groundedness in the sound.
Yeah.
So it's always a choice, I think, once you go beyond your passage or your bridge or your break, between how much effort do I want to put in and which sound do I want to go for, which volume do I want to go for. Yeah. Does that make sense? Does that answer your question?
Yeah, I think it makes sense.
It's a long answer,
Makes sense.
but
Yeah, but it's interesting to hear your answer. I think it's really complete,
cool.
and I think it aligns with my what I've experienced thus far.
It sounds like it. Yeah, it sounds like it. So
Okay.
Let's experiment with this as well, because then it will make sense more as well. I want you to sing those first lines of the chorus again, and make them as easy as you can for yourself. And I will not give any other clues just yet, or limitations just yet. Just sing a version that is the easiest for you.
Easiest is like no belting.
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. So that's the pitch.
Okay. I'm of the deep end, watches are diving, I never meet the ground.
Yeah, perfect. So that was head voice or mode plus or falsetto or whatever you want to call it. I call it mode plus in the ABC voice model. So that's like this. And you're totally right. That's in general above your break pitch or above your bridge. That's the easiest way to sing. Now, what we can do is I will give you the limitation. You're not allowed to go to head voice, but I still want you to make the easiest version for yourself.
Okay.
So that means we're not going all the way here. We're not going all the way here, but you find somewhere in the middle.
Okay. On a deep end, watches are diving, I'll never meet the ground.
Yeah, great. That was pretty easy, right?
Yeah, like I'm not purposely using a lot of strength. I'm just letting it out.
Yeah, great. So now, okay, and one thing to point out, the meat, you now went to head voice, which is a great decision, and it works for the song. You can choose either way. And you sang an E vowel, really an E, and it worked. It was easy to do, right? So that's perfect.
Yeah.
So now to go from this sound, which I think you can use, but maybe it does lack a bit of power or a bit of groundedness, a bit of fullness. You can try to sing it the same easy way, but color it darker. So it's still very effortless. So my bass sound, my bass feeling is very, I'm of the deep end. I don't have to do a lot. But now without adding thickness, I can color it darker. I'm on the deep end. It's a bit darker. It's still very easy. You want to try?
I'm on the deep end, watch as I dive in. I never meet the crowd.
That's great. That's great. That's a big difference. How did it feel?
Yeah, I feel like I'm doing it more strategically, so I'm not using a lot of strength in terms of like pushing, but I'm like purposely more intentionally changing my vowels to project the darkness.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. That's what I wanted you to do, and you did it perfectly.
Oh, great.
So this is one way to go from maybe a bit too thin to darker and still having it feel relaxed. But now you can choose if this is really effortless and you still want a bit more power, a bit more emotion. You can choose how far on the spectrum you want to go. Do you want to make it really hard for yourself and really risky, or somewhere here, or do you want to go very easy? And generally, when we have like a very tricky song or a very long song, it's smart to find a way you can make it very easy for yourself, at least in the beginning. And then when you're singing the chorus and you find, my voice is working well today, I'm doing great, you can always make it a bit harder for yourself. But if you have a terrible voice day, you can always fall back to what you just did, and you can easily get to the end of the song this way. Whereas if you go full on from the beginning, maybe you won't make it. Yeah. I hope that was helpful. In lesson 7 of my free ABC voice model mini course, we take a deep dive into ABC and the mixed voice. So if you're interested, link in description. And if you'd like to book a private session like the one you just watched, link in description. This was part 2 of my lesson with Alexis. If you want to watch part 1 about how you can change your sound color as well, watch it here.